the channel. You are going to be recorded. Just want to let you know, give you the heads up so you won't get caught off guard. All right, so listen, we're going to move quickly. Usually I have some type of little monologue and I begin to talk about different things, but tonight we're just going to go ahead and dive right into it. Let me see, I'm going to share my screen with you. You know, the goal for us is to, stay committed and stay focused on the Torah portions, because that's where everything's at. Everything is going to be focused on the Torah portions. Often I try to veer sometimes, and then Yah just keeps bringing me right back saying, hey, listen, there's something in the Torah. There's something in it that Yah is speaking to his people. And if we don't listen to what he's saying, his voice, the Torah is Yahweh's voice. Okay. That's what his voice is. His voice is not going to be, like the New Testament had it, like, behold, this is my beloved son in whom hear ye him, and all that kind of stuff. It's not going to be nothing like that. Okay. And so, we have to stay focused, and we have to, sometimes you might get your lines crossed up. Sometimes you might be running out of time on some different things, but we have to stay focused on the Torah. We have to stay focused on education and learning and understanding how Yah was talking to us. We can learn, we can hear his voice simply by Shalom Aki. We can simply learn what Yahweh wants us to know if we would just stay within the path. So the Torah is a pathway, okay? And so we're going to have to stay on that path. That's the goal, okay? So this week's Torah portion, I have my screen up, and let me know if you can't see it, but I know you probably can. It's called Teruma, okay? That's the name of it. It's called Teruma. Let's just pin right here. Teruma, okay? So what does that mean, right? You might ask yourself, well, these are names I've never heard before. Teruma, last week was Mishpatim, Zetzavak or Zetzaveh coming up, Tisas coming up. All these are all Hebrew names, okay? And I go to this website called kabbalah.org because it helps me understand where to go read for each week. So last week we read here, this week we're on this one. So this week we're going to be focused on Exodus chapter number 25, chapter number 26, and chapter number 27. Okay. So sometimes you might get 4 verses, sometimes you might get 8 verses, sometimes you might get 12 verses. But these are Yahweh's words, and he's talking to us. Okay. So this word right here consists of, it's a compound word. The first part of it is this T-E, te, okay? In Hebrew, just to let you know, that usually signifies the word you. Sorry, my pen is not responding because of the internet or whatever. This usually means the word you, okay? Y-O-U. That's what that first part is, te, okay? In Hebrew, it means you, okay? The next part of the word, because it's a compound word, and a lot of these are compound words. The next part of the word is this word right here, room. Okay. Room. So te, room, and then ah. Okay. Teruma. Okay. So there's a root in this word. In the Hebrew language, all the words are based on what they would call a root system. They all have a root. Okay. Like, a family tree. And so I liken the letters of the Hebrew language to, letters in a family, like the Aleph Bet family. The Aleph has a family, the Bet has a family, the Gimel has a family. All these different letters have a family. So I want to show you or tell you what this word means, room. This is the most important part right here, okay? If the first part is you, and then this part, room, means to rise. Okay. And the ah right here, it's a feminine ending. So we know that this is God's talking to the soul. because all of our souls are feminine. Even if we're masculine in our bodies, you and I have a nefesh ka. We have a feminine soul. The soul is identified as a feminine noun. Okay, so you rise, or to rise means to lift up. Okay, so this is what this Torah portion is going to be about. It's going to be about lifting up something. Okay, to lift up. Yes, ask yourself, to lift up what? What can you lift up? Think about it. What can you lift up? Tell me some things that you can lift up.
Your hands.
You can lift your hands up. What else can you lift up?
An offering.
An offering. Praise the Holy One. And also, too, you can lift up your eyes. Okay. Okay. So hands, your eyes, you can roll your eyes up and look up into the sky. You can lift your eyes up. Okay. You can lift your hands up. Okay. So literally what it's talking about is putting something in your hand, as whoever said offering was absolutely spot on, to take this offering and to put it in your hands and to lift up your eyes and look and present it upward. Okay. So this week, this is something that Yah wants us to focus on. The name of the book that we're reading out of is called the book of, they call it Exodus, but that's not the name. The name is not Exodus. The name of this book is called Shemot. It's right here. You can write it down. SHMOTH. Okay. Shem right here means name. And the oath right here means it's plural for names. Okay. Your name is your character. So this whole book that you and I have been reading for the last several weeks, Yah has been developing the character of Israel. Okay. He's been talking about their character. He's been trying to develop their character. He has brought them out of slavery. They have a certain character traits that he needs to deal with. He's showing them who he is, what his character is, his power, his hand. And so all the names that we get in here, all the words that are being used are to develop our character. Like last week, we talked about Mishpatim. Yah says, these are the things that I want you to do to build character in you. It dealt with slaves. It dealt with getting married. It dealt with me and you dealing with each other, dealt with fights and arguments and contention, and how to be fair. Okay. So that's part of our development character. So Yah uses what they call his judgments, which is his rulings, to teach us. Okay. So we're not really compartmentalizing, or, Yah has this separate for us so we can focus on certain things. So this week, Yah's telling us, okay, well, I talked to you last week and we were at a place and I was telling you about the judgments. Now I want to see something. I want to see something now. Now that I've explained that, I gave you the Torah, I spoke to you guys, got afraid. Moshe is actually up still in the mountain. Moshe's in the mountain. The children of Israel are still down in their tents. Aaron and the rest of the leaders are down there, and they're supposed to be controlling the people while Moshe is getting this information. So I just wanted to set the backdrop for you, okay? So now Yah is telling Moshe something that we're going to read, okay? So the first thing you do is you're going to go to chapter number 25, and we're going to go to verse number 1, okay? I'm going to bring this over to the Hebrew. Make sure you make your notes. Okay. I'm going to read from right to left. Okay. And so you might get a little confused because I'm reading in a certain direction, but I'm only looking at the Hebrew because I want us to make sure that we get an understanding on the language as well. Okay. So we're reading this way. And spoke Yahweh to Moshe, saying, okay. And what he said something. He said, speak. Okay. I need you to speak, which is Devar. I need you to speak. And I'm going to blow this up a little bit more so you can see it. Okay. He says, speak to the sons of Israel. Okay. Now we got to understand in our grammar, how does he tell them to speak?
Hey,
this is called, yes, sir.
I was just recognizing something because you always say how they interpret words. Right here, he's using Israel as a son.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be banim if it were plural?
Well, this is a grammatical rule called a semiku. Okay, so a semicuth means what they do is it is the plural right
Okay,
here,
thank
the EC, masculine, plural, common, right? So what they do, Aki, is anytime you have two nouns next to each other, right? It would be by nim, right? If it was by itself, you're correct. It would be a mem right here, like this, to mean sons. Okay. And then of Israel, right? Of is implied. But because there's a rule in the grammar and the structure of two nouns being next to each other,
Okay.
it's gonna be the bene.
Okay.
You see, what will tell you that it's plural are the two dots and then the yod. Okay, that's what it would use. That's what it would be. These little symbols right here in our grammar tells us that it is plural. So when I look at that, I know that it's plural because it has this two dots and this yod right here. Okay,
Okay.
B'nai Yisrael.
Thank you.
One of the yes, no worries. But one of the things that what I thought you was going to bring out is the fact that usually in the English text they say the children of Israel, right? So literally, he's talking to the sons of Israel, which are the children, which include both male and female. Because people say, well, isn't he just talking to the males? If there's one female in there, if there's one male in all females, it would always be the male. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So here, what I wanted to show you about the way that he speaks to the children of Israel. This is a command. The IMP right here is called an imperative. That's what it's called. And you can look it up on Google and look at grammar. Imperative is a command. Okay. So what he's about to tell them is not a suggestion. It's a command. He says, speak, like in a PL. And this right here means in a very forceful way. Yah is never talking to Israel except in this way, in a very forceful way. He never says in a very simple way. And so the creator, when he's speaking, he's telling Moshe, this is how you got to talk to these people. I don't want you to be nice and fluffy. I need you to be firm with your words. Okay. And it's in a command. Okay. And the way that that it's a command for those who were in my grammar class, is the way that the vowels underneath it are structured. These little vowel points let us know that it's that it is in that type of verb stem. Okay. The way actually, and why am I mentioning this? Because I know a lot of you don't know the language, but if we don't know how something is being said, it can be misinterpreted. It can be mistranslated. You would think that Yahweh just said this. It's not. He's commanding it. It's a command. He's saying, go command them and tell them that they bring me to take up and bring to me a teruma. This is our Torah portion this week. Okay. So one question may come up and say, well, why do they choose these words? Why was last week mishpatim? Why is this word teruma? Because this is literally the focus of the week. The focus is like, Yah wants you to focus on all the different aspects of this in particular word. Because this name right here, teruma, tells us that it has to do with an offering, but it also tells us that it's something that's being lifted up and it's something that has to be elevated. Okay. It's going to have to be elevated. So I'm going to click on the word right for us right quick so we can see it. And it says a contribution. Okay. So that's what a teruma is. Now they have a word that you might hear on a day called Yom Teruah. Okay. It sounds very much alike. One is Teruah and the other was Teruma. Okay. So words sound alike. This in particular day is the Day of Trumpets. And that's right before the Day of Atonement. They'll blow on the Day of Teruah. Yom Teruah is called the Day of Trumpets. It's one of Yah's festivals. Okay. So these two words are different. One means to raise up and lift up, which is a contribution as an offering. Okay. The translation for offering right here as a teruma is not necessarily really an offering. Listen to me carefully. There's different, well, it is an offering, but it's a different type of offering. Okay. So we can't get this teruma confused with the offerings of lambs, goats, stuff from the herd, cattle, none of that. So there's all different types. And this is one of the things that the Christian community don't talk about. They don't talk about these contributions. This is something that Yah wants us to give, okay? Because remember, it's a command. Now, but look at something interesting about this though, here, which is pretty fascinating. Um, it talks about, heave offerings and so forth, early issues, contributions, all sorts of things. But there's a different word down here that I think that we have here. Oh, here you go. When you go to this website called BibleHub.com, that's where I'm getting this information from. Okay. It's a nice tool to use. You're going to see stuff like the Strong's exhaustive concordance that's built into this in particular website. It gives you all the English, hey, a gift, a heave offering. We don't know what that is. To shoulder, oblation off. All these things are confusing to us. We don't know anything about it, right? But here it is. It says that this word comes from room. This one right here. Okay. Something that is offered up. So it is an offering, but it's the way that you're doing it. It's being offered up. It's a gift. Okay. And it's from this word room. Okay. Now we're going to go right quick and I'm going to show you what room means. Because if you look at the word right quick before we go to room, here is the word room right here inside of the word right here. Room. It's right here. Okay. So that's when they're talking about, well, where does it come from? So remember, it's a compound word. If you know the language, you'll know exactly what this stuff means. Okay. So this is the root. This is the feminine ending. Okay. And this is the person, you as an individual. Okay. You're the individual who has to do this. That's what I love about this language, because you can have a word. And once you learn these words, you'll be like, oh, when you see it again, you'll be like, oh, I know what that is, So here, room. I'm going to push on, looks like rum, but it's really room. Room means this. And they got a phonetic spelling with the R-O-O-M. That's how it's spelled phonetically and spoken, okay? So it means to be exalted or to be high and to be lifted up, okay? So why do we want to focus on that? Why do we want to focus on being high and exalted? Let me ask you a question before I ask that one. Let me ask you another question. What is the name of our initial forefather? What's his name?
Abraham.
Yes, his name is Avram. Okay. So they say Abraham. So you would never see it. Okay. You would never see this. Okay. Before his name was Abraham or Avraham, his name was Avram. That was his name. Okay. So remember, if you know the language, that's why I want you guys to come to my class. What does Av mean?
Father.
Father. And so this root on the back, Ram, is the same letter, which is a R, right here. And it has an A, but that's just a vowel sound, and then an M, which is right here. And what is his name? What does Avram's name mean?
Exalted Father.
Exalted Father. He's the exalted. Okay. Now, the last part, when Yah changed his name, he added, okay, this Ham right here. Okay. Right? Or this Ha inside the Avram. Well, that right there, from a grammatical viewpoint, means it has to do with plurality. Okay. So he's the father of all. He's the exalted Father above all. And the last part right here is and means in Hebrew nations. Okay. So he has nations. Israel came from out of his loins, but also other nations came from Avram too. Okay. So a lot of people think that includes the United States of America. And I got some bad news for you. It does not include them. Okay. The sons of Abraham can be found in and here it is. His first child was through a woman named Hagar, correct?
Right.
His next child was through Sarah, correct?
Yes.
He had another wife called Keturah, correct?
Yeah.
And he also had concubines, okay, that he had, okay? So he had all kinds of children, okay? If you look at Keturah's line, okay, and I think I have a a line on him so you can see. Let me pull it up right quick. I want you guys to see it. You tell me if you can see it when I pull it up. I'm going to show you something. Give you a little bit more insight. Because remember, we're students first. We're not here to find out how to deal with sin. I know you guys be tripping on me when I say that, but it's the truth. We're not here to deal with sin. Okay, we're not. I'm trying to find this this layout that has his family line on it. So I'm going through all my stuff. Forgive me. You see all my little pictures and stuff. See here. No, that's not it. This is another thing with all the stones for Israel. McKenna. Forgive me. Come on, let's please hurry up. Let's find it. Take you guys through years of my studies. Look. Come on. Where are you? Here we go. I knew I had it. All right. So here. All right. So let me erase all these names. So you got the names. Write down those names for the women. Okay. So first wife. Okay. Servant girl, which is his wife. Okay. And his wife after Sarah died. And then he had other women who were concubines that were not his wives, but he had children with them. Okay. And it talks about when he died, how he gave gifts unto all of his sons. Okay. So here it is. We look at Abraham. Okay. Let me pull it right here quick. So let's get our minds blown. Oh, okay. What are you tripping? All right. Let me go back out of here. And I think it's acting that way because I'm recording. There you go. All right. All right. Here we go. Huh?
Are you saying other
Can you
than
guys-
12 sons, he had more kids?
Yeah. Abraham had a ton of sons. Okay. All right. All right. So listen up. So here's the family line of Avram, right? Here's the family line. Put it in a different color. So first wife right here, you can find it right there. Hagar had the first child and his Yishmael. Okay. Yishmael had all these sons. All these sons. These are all his kids. Okay.
Wow.
You see? All right. They belong to Abraham. And all these people that you see here, Najab and Timar and Masa and Jetur and Kedar and Kadam, Duma and all them, these are all the Arabs. Okay. And all the Arab nations and Qatar and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Then you have Abraham, who had his wife here after Sarah's death. Her name is Keturah. Her name means the smoky. She has smoky eyes, like smoky gray eyes. Okay. Probably a very beautiful black woman with smoky gray eyes. And he had these sons, Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Yisbak, and Shua. What are you talking about? Yithro came from Midian? Yes, he did. Madan, yes. So, and Shua and all these different people, yes. Okay. So these are all the ones that they name because he was married to them. This is what's documented. But if you read the text, when he dies, it says he gave gifts to all his sons, even he had concubines, you guys, which don't get legal status as a wife. Okay. But each one of these women here had legal status as a wife. Therefore, they're considered and they're written down. They generally don't give the names of concubines. Okay. So you can see that Abraham has all these different sons. These are all his children. And then you go over here to Yitzchak and you see what's going on. And what did Yah promise over here? You have Yaakov. And look what happened to him. He expanded. He had Ziplah, Leah, Raquel, and Bilhah. There's his servants, but they're all, even though these were these women's servants, they were still his wife. Okay. And there's their kids, all 12 of them. Boom. See? And that gives you the order and how they were born. Okay. And that's how they got developed. And then Esau, which is our brother, that was all his sons from all these different women. And you can see who he dealt with. So you can see where all the hatred comes from. Kitty, Kiwi, you see? And then he married this one, Basemeth, which was he married Ishmael's daughter. See? And then and here's all the chiefs of them. So all the people that came from Esau that was hooked up with Uncle Ishmael, that gave his daughter, and then they end up having all these different people, which are nations. And then Esau over here got with her, and then all these nations happen. Kanaz and Teman and Omar and them. Here's the one that Yah says, I'm gonna make sure that you kill them and I have an eternal hatred for these people. Amalek right here, who attacked Israel. Okay, so all his sons are from these people that hate Israel. And that's another reason why the Holy One of Israel said, I need you to go in and wipe them out. Okay, so we don't really keep up on it. Okay, but I do see here Timnah, which is interesting. They were mentioned that the reason why this one's probably mentioned is because this is with the in particular people that Yah says forever that I'm gonna destroy. These people, Yah hates these people. Okay, and he says, I love Yaakov, but I hate Esau. Okay, so you can see that. I wanted to share that with you to give you a little bit more insight about what Abraham's name means, the exalted father. He's exalted because he's a father of many nations, but not all the nations, many nations. Okay. That has to do with that word room. Okay.
Hey, can you put it back? Because I didn't get some of it.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Here you go. If you have you on your computer, you could do a little print screen, if you have it on a cell phone, you can snap screen it. Yep. Yep. So this is the family line. All right. So what you see is an abundance. And look over here, you have you got Lot over here with his family, and they grew. You see, so all these people, Moab and Ammon and all these are all of our relatives. The Midians who came against us, that's family members. These are all family members. These are all people that come against us. So there's a lot of anger and hostility within this in particular family. Okay. Because everybody's fighting for the rights of who's going to be lifted up and who's going to be exalted. Out of all the sons that Abraham had, Sarah said, I'm going to ensure that you put her out, and you're going to make, and when you get rid of her, you're getting rid of him and all them. They're not going to reign with my son, which was Yitzchak. Laughter. And then he had these two boys, and Yah gave this one. And then so all the blessings have been pouring down from Avram, down to Sarah, down to Yitzchak, down to Yaakov. So all these people on this side of the thing have missed out, and they're mad and they're pissed off because everything has changed. Okay. They think, well, we're the firstborn. We're Abraham's firstborn. Hagar, Ishmael's the firstborn. So we got funk with them. And then you got over here at Yitzchak, you got Esau. I'm the firstborn. That's why you funking with everybody over on this side of the line. Do you see all the people that come against us? And then on this side, you got these people right here that's going against us. That's intimidated and scared. That's why they came against us. You see? But remember, Yah says, I'm not giving you any of their land. I can show you right now where these individuals right here that are from Ishmael and over at Keturah, these individuals are going to be bringing gifts to the children of Israel on camels and everything. Okay. That's in the book of Isaiah. Okay. So those are the ones that Yah's talking about. Okay. I'm going to move on.
Okay, thanks.
Yo, you're welcome.
Mhm.
All right. So let me share another thing with you. It's about getting us educated about what's really going on. So now that we understand this about what room and exalted is, we can then begin to understand what Yah is asking of us. Okay. So this week, I want you to wrap your mind around just this one word, room. I want you to really think about it. I don't want you to think of it in a religious way. I don't want you to think like, well, he's asking us just to exalt him. It's deeper than us just exalting him. What he's saying is that you and I are going to have to get elevated. You and I have to rise, and you and I have to go to the next level. You and I are going to have to go up higher, and you and I are going to have to what they call ascend to him. We have to lift up everything about ourselves. That's what this whole week of study is going to be for us. It's about an ascension to him. But before we ascend to him, he says, I want to tell the children of Israel something about this ascension before I command this, because it's a command. It's not him just making a suggestion. It is a command because it's an imperative. Okay. So this whole week, just understand that your contribution is going to be something that you, because a lot of times we think, well, I don't have any contributions right now. I don't have any things that he's going to ask for. Okay. But he says, I want you to me to give it to Ruma the Meath from every man. Every man. Listen to this. I want it from every man who is willing. Okay. Willing. Right. With his heart, his libo. Okay. So we're going to take the next couple of minutes and we're going to focus on this. Okay. We're going to focus on this. This is very, very important. This one line is the foundation of us moving forward for the remaining part of the week. I don't need to read 50 verses to you. All I need to do is take one verse and chop it down so you can understand what Yah is expecting from us. Okay. So listen what he says. He says this, I want you to go and tell the sons of Israel, I need you to speak to them and command them for them to, so that they will bring to me an offering, a teruma, a something exalted and something lifted up. And from what? And it says from, okay. This is a disservice to the word. If you know the language, you know that from is not just from here, okay. This mem right here, this letter, which is a M in English, okay, but in Hebrew it looks like this. It's this what they call a preposition. It's a placement to know I'm going to position you, okay? Like if you got to go from somewhere, like from your tent to somewhere, it gives you the locality. It gives you the area, like either I'm going from behind or we're going before you, I'm on the side of you or something, okay? But this is saying I'm moving from somewhere. So this next little two words or two letters right here is called an aleph and a tav. Those two words right there, or excuse me, two letters. This one, it means strength, okay, or strong, okay. And the next one is called a mark, because that's what a tav is. It's a mark, meaning like an X, okay, like to mark the spot. So what I'm saying is that yet when anytime you see this in particular letters, these two letters together like this, it is a very distinctive arrow pointing to something. It means that I want you to really pay attention to what I'm saying. Okay. So if there's two books or 5 books on the table, and I tell you, give me the book, you would say, well, there's 5 of them. Which one? I would have to point to it and tell you which one. So I can let you, I'm instructing you to let you know exactly which one I'm talking about. So when you see this aleph tav, Yah is literally saying, this is my finger. I'm going to use my finger to point you to what I'm really looking for. Okay. So this eth right here is pointing to every man. Okay. Every man. Listen to this. Every man. These two letters, which you call a kaf and a lamed, okay, they mean something. They're not just letters. They're not just like, here's the Hebrew word call, K-A-L, call. You know, in English, it would be C-A-L-L for, you know, if you wanted to make a call. But it's two different. It sounds alike, but it's different. This call here means something. The kaf in the Hebrew, that's the name of the letter. It's the palm of the hand. Follow me, and I'm not going to go too fast. This letter right here is called a lamed. That's what it looks like. It looks just like this, okay, which represents a shepherd's staff, okay? So when the Holy One of Israel is asking for pointing you directly to all, he's saying not just all and every. When you have a palm with in the staff, it means that the person who has the staff in their palm is ready to walk. That's when you put a staff in your hand, when you're ready to walk, or you're ready to protect. Okay, because that's what you use the staff for. Are you ready to lead? You're ready to guide. You're ready to teach. You're ready. You're prepared. Okay. You're fit for service. You've been literally tamed, because also too, with a rod in your, or a staff in your hand, is used to tame, tame, an animal, or it can tame a plant or a field. Like, you use it to hit down the cumin or the anise or whatever seeds once you plant the seed and you want to push it down into the ground, you don't use your finger. You use your staff to push it down, and move it around. Okay. So the taming is what this palm and the staff means. So Yah is saying a person who is prepared, a person who's ready, a person who's willing to walk for me, a person who's willing to be guided and to be led, is a person who's tamed. Yah's interested in taming us. Okay. Because when the children of Israel came out of Mitzrayim, out of their slavery, they were wild like an ass. You understand? They're wild. So they're not listening. When he said you guys are stiff-necked, that means every time I try to send and lead you into a direction, you want to go the opposite direction. So he's having to tame them. That's why they're in the wilderness. Okay. So when Yah uses his words, when he says, speak to the sons of Israel, he's telling them that, look, this is what I need. But what I'm going to ask is, I only want this from somebody who is tamed. I only want this for someone who is willing to be under the instruction of the leadership that I'm about to provide. Okay. This is a big deal. Okay. It's a big deal. So that's what he's asking. And that's from that word every, which means all. If you know the Hebrew language, you'll know how culturally how it works. And then you'll be like, oh, he ain't just talking about every, he's talking about somebody who has a readiness of themselves. Okay. So he's asking this, and this right here, Asher, it's a relative pronoun, meaning like it's going to tell you who the action is. It's like tying the verb of the action to who's doing it. So in this case, the who here is the man. Every man who, see, so the who is every man. Okay. But the word asher is deeper than, it means a rope, actually. Okay. To tie. Okay. And it comes from this idea of the word shar. Okay. That's why you have here this SH, and then you have this R, which is shar, SH and an R. These are the Hebrew letters for SH. And here's a Hebrew letter right here for the R. Okay. And that's why you have share. And then I put the aleph in front of it. It's called Asher. Okay. Asher, which happens to be one of the names of the sons of Israel, one of his sons. Okay. But what does it mean? Well, agriculturally, it means a rope to tie something together. It's making a connection between who is talking to what the verb is. It's letting you know who has to be this. So in this case, it's the person who's tamed is the man or the person who is willing. You understand? So asher means to be straight. Why? How did I get that? Well, it means to be straight. It means to be, because you're looking at a rope. Ropes are not supposed to be all over the place. They're not functional. Okay, but they have to be straight so you can tie things the right way. They have to be straight when you're gonna snap a line to do a construction project. You got to make sure that the line is straight. Okay, so when we look at this, when we're talking about this, and it also means happy. Well, why happy? When you live a straight life, you have a happy life. This happiness here is called asher or Ashrae. Okay, Ashrae. This is one of the first words of Psalms 119, where he says these words. He says, happy, or they translate it as blessed. It doesn't mean only blessed, it means to be happy. Okay. So I don't want to just say that. I actually want to show you. So we're going to go there just for a quick sec so I can support what I'm saying. So you're like, well, I know he's telling me, not that you don't trust me, but I'm trying to train you to tame you to be like, I'm not going to let anybody just tell me anything anymore. I've been through that for 25 to 30 years where these people have been telling me that somebody died for my sins and I can walk away scot-free. Well, not here. What I want you to do is I want you to test everything and test everybody. So I said something. I said that it's a word that has to do with happiness. I said it's the first word in the book of Psalms 119, verse number 1. And it is. There it is. There's your word Asher. Okay. Here it is. Here's the root. Ashrae. Okay. Right here. Same Aleph, Shin, Resh. Right here. And then they put this yod. Okay. And it means blessed. And then they implied this R, because there is no Hebrew word for R. But they use the word blessed, but that's not what it really means. Okay. That's their interpretation. Okay. An Ashrae, Ashrae means this: a person who has happiness. It's happiness. And it comes from the root of someone living a straight life. Okay. It's someone who lives a life that's of straight, of righteousness, who lives straight and who walks in that way. See, and you see if they came from the word Asher right here. So you can see it'd be a Asher, and then they got a Ashar. Just some different pronunciations. Asher, not a big deal. Let's click on Ashar. What does it tell you? So we got blessedness, happiness. Well, here it is. Wow. Akika di David is telling us the truth. It means to go straight. And it has an agricultural connection to a rope. That's why every time you turn around, they use this word to connect the noun with the verb to let you know who's doing it. They just use it as a grammatical tool to make connections between the subject of the noun and the object and the verb who's doing the action. That's all. Okay. So it makes the connections for us. But Yah says, I don't want you to look at I'm not here to just teach you grammar. You can learn grammar. It's not about grammar. The language is not about grammar. The language is about culture. They're using our culture to create a grammar. That's what they're doing. They're using our culture. Like, okay, I'll put this letter right here. What letter is that? What letter is this right here? When I just that's the Wa. And what does the Wa represent?
Tent peg.
The tent peg. And what does the tent peg do?
Hold things together.
It holds things
Hold the tin up.
Yeah, but holds the tent up, right? But guess what you need to make hold the tent up? So, okay, praise the Holy One of Israel. I say praise the Holy One of Israel. I'll say praise the Holy One of Israel one more time, because look, he's about to show us something. Here's the tent. Okay, forgive my writing. Here's the tent. Okay, and then I'm going to use, okay, and this, what's the tent in Hebrew called? What's the name of that?
A sukkah.
Yes, it's a sukkah, but when it's a place, it's a dwelling, right? Which is called a bet.
Oh, yeah.
Bet, okay, which means house or tent or dwelling. Okay, what do you need inside of the house or to hold the tent up? What do you need inside of the tent to hold it up? To make it stand straight.
Pole.
You need a pole. Guess what that pole is called? That pole is called an Av. An Av is a father. Okay, listen to this. Now we got the tent that's straight up, but now we need to use the guy ropes, correct? So let's put some guy ropes on here. Okay, we need a tent peg to hold it, which is a Wa. Right here. We need a Wa here, and then we're going to need another Wa here. We're going to need another Wa here, and we're going to need a Wa over here, and one over on this side as well. Okay, so then we're going to put the ropes. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to put the ropes to hold the tent. Or that's not all the way that. When I put my tent, I'm going to put it up there. Here it is, right here. Boom, boom. Okay, you guys ever been camping? You ever did a coat? You gotta lock that tent down with those pegs. Okay. So look, it holds everything firm. Okay. So these walls are what hold everything together. Okay. What's the point? It means that the wah in grammars means and, because it's a connection. Okay. So the Holy One of Israel is letting us know, oh, I forgot. That's what the worship the Holy One was about. I can't forget that. Guess what the ropes are called? Ashrae. Ashrae is a rope. It makes the connection. You see? So what we have here, even for this one right here, the action of this is to go straight. And to hold everything tight. So if I got the Ashrae connected right here, it's going to keep the tent straight. It's going to keep the tent up. It's going to keep it exalted. It's going to keep it lifted up. You see? And these ropes they have to be straight. They have to be straight. They can't, and they got to be not only straight, but they got to be what? Somebody tell me. They got to be tight.
Right.
They got to be tight. You see? In order for everything to go on, in order for things to continue. You understand? So just in this little example right here, we have the tent, which is the bet. And the bet in Hebrew has to do with the tent, or what they will call your house. And that's what Yah is preparing to do. Yah is preparing to build himself what they would call a mishkan. Okay, in Hebrew. And a mishkan is what Yah would call a place for him to recline, a place for him to rest himself, to rest his feet. He doesn't have feet, but it's the sense of him saying, I want somewhere where I can kick it. I want somewhere I can lay down and recline myself. I want somewhere where I can relax. This is my house. This is my home. And they call this a mishkan, but in English, they call it a sanctuary. So this teruma, Yah is beginning to show Israel that, listen, I want to dwell with you. I want to live with you. Okay. But I need you to understand that once I put my house has to be designed in a certain way. So what Yah is doing is he's telling Moshe what to ask the children of Israel for. He's asking for the articles to build his house where he's going to live with them, because he's going to be traveling with them. So he wants to live with them. He so desperately wants to live with Israel. That's what he wants to do. He wants to make his home with us. This Torah portion is not just about the people that were in existence over 2,000 years ago, or 3,000 or 4,000. It's not about that. Okay. It's about us living with Yah. Okay. So I wanted to show you what Ashrae means. Okay. So here we go. We're back here again. The last part of the teaching that we're going to have for tonight is going to be this, so you can meditate on it. So we found out the Ma'ath call Ish Asher. We know what it is now. We got this line, Tinus. So the person who's been tamed is the person who is going to be tied to something. And what they need to be tied to is what they would call willingness. What they're going to have to be tied to is what they here is called Yerabenu. Okay. I don't expect you to remember that, but I want you to write this word down. I'm going to find out the root. I know what it is, but I want to share it with you. It's called Nadav. Okay. Okay. Nadav. N-A-D-A-B. Okay. But it's pronounced Nadav. Okay. And it's a verb. Okay. And what is Nadav? Well, Nadav is one of the names of Aaron's sons. Nadav is one of the sons who went up with Abraham with Moshe, Aharon, and Eleazar and the 70 elders, and they went and they had a meal with the Holy One of Israel. Nadav is a beautiful name, okay? But it also has an action. And remember, Yah is talking to us about our character. I'm going to keep saying this over and over again. Your character. He mentions this name because he's trying to tell us about what am I looking for with inside of you? Okay. So Nadav means to incite and mean to impel. And this means without any hesitation. I want you to make move. I want you to make this in particular move without any hesitation. I want you to make this move without any thought or any consideration, anything that is going to withhold you or prevent you from doing it. Okay. But there's a deeper meaning to this. Remember, your name is your character. Okay. It can have a positive effect and it can have a negative effect. In this case, Yah's telling us the positive about this name. This name means to incite, or it means to be willing. Okay. It means to make yourself available and to voluntarily do something without anybody prompting you, without any probing. Okay. So there's no probing. Okay. Why am I using this word no probing? Because recently, just not even a few minutes ago, I told you about the word call. K-A-L, okay? The palm with the staff. And I told you the palm and the staff is somebody who is ready. They have already been probed. They've already been tamed. There's no need to tame. Now that I've tamed you and your heart has been tamed, your heart is not the little red thing that you got in your chest, okay, that you fill it with all kind of plaque from our foods that we eat. The heart that Yah's talking about, your libo or your lavavka, okay, lavavka. Your lavavka is your mind. Now that's the heavy part. What Yah is saying, everyone, is that, look, I'm asking you, okay, I'm not asking, forgive me, Yahweh. I'm commanding the individuals who have been already probed, the individuals who've already been made to be made ready, the individuals who are of noble character, who understand what this means. I want you to do something now. And what I want you to do is I want you to willingly give this to me. It's not, okay, listen to me carefully. It's not the stuff that he's asking for. Okay. Look, I know I'm going to sound confusing, but let me calm down because I get excited. Let's just read it in English so we don't get confused. Okay. Now he says here, tell. That's not true. The Hebrew word for tell is neged. That means make it known. He didn't say that. He gave a commandment. He said speak. Okay. Speak. Command the children, the sons of Israel, to take up a collection, a contribution, not a collection. It's a contribution. It's a teruma. Take up a teruma for me. Take up something that exalts something to me. Exalt it, make it rise. Okay, for me. And accept this teruma from anyone, any person, okay, who wholeheartedly, Nadav, wants to give it. Okay, wants to give. So often we think that the contribution or the teruma is going to be the gold, the silver, and the bronze, the blue, the purple, and the scarlet, the fine yard, the fine linen, and the goat's hair, the tan ram skins, and the fine leather, and the acacia wood, the oil for the lamp, and the spices, and the anointing oil for the fragrant incense. And he goes on to talk about the onyx stones and other stones to be set. So he gives a litany of all these different things that he's asking them for. But one of the things that we miss often is what Yahweh is really looking for. Yahweh is looking for a person who has this type of heart, and that heart is called a Nadav. Nadav, which means willing and guess what? Noble. You can be a nobleman or you can be a noble woman, because Yahweh is interested in building that character of this inside of us. Yah has given everything that he asked him for. He already gave it to him. Everything he asked him for, he's already provided everything. So why does he ask him for it? If he can go get this from somewhere else. He's going to actually have the nations bring this to him himself. He doesn't need Israel to give him anything. He's doing this because what he's trying to show them or to bring out is, I want to find out who has this heart of nobility. And that's what we're going to talk about later on this week. This we're going to talk about on Yom Kamishi, which is the 5th day of the week. We're going to talk more about this nobility. We're going to talk more about this person who has this willingness and this honesty about them. We're going to talk more about how do we become the people that he's asking us to become. One of the reasons why Yah put Israel out of the land is because they were a very unthankful people. They were very entitled people. They thought that Yahweh owed them everything. He gave them everything. And a lot of times we think when Yah gives us something that there's no attachments. And I'm here to tell you tonight that that's an absolute incorrect. When Yah gives us something, he does have attachments because we're attached to him, you see. Because we're attached to him, he's asking for us to have a certain type of character. And by us, and you and I, because not everybody gave, because not everybody had a willingness, not everybody's noble. But by us being noble, we can encourage others to do the same. Because we're like sheep. And once all the sheep start doing something, everybody else by sheer nature begin to like, hey, man, I feel like, maybe I should stop being so selfish. And maybe I should start giving a little something. So everybody got encouraged and they were motivated. And that's in another Torah portion when it talks about he had to tell them to stop giving. Okay. So what are we bringing out? We're bringing out the fact that Yah is looking for the character of a person who's noble. And because you belong to a family of noble people, you belong to Abraham, which is the exalted father of all the nations. We belong to Yitzchak, the one who has laughter, who was a promise. We belong to Yaakov, who's a man of great contention and great strive and great arguing and having to fight for everything that he's ever wanted. The one who's been cheated and undermined, the one who's been overlooked and done dirty, lied to and deceived, and scared, running around afraid for his life, afraid of his brother, afraid of his uncle, afraid of the surrounding people. When he got older, there's people around him, surrounding him. His sons put him in a very bad predicament where he was afraid of the nations that were around him because of their actions and behavior. He lost his wife on the way, going down to Egypt, settling in different places, and he's experienced death. His daughter got raped, and so the list goes on and on and on. His son was taken from her for 17 years. They lied to him, said he died. And this man had a very difficult life, very difficult. But he had enough, I think, staying power that he was willing to get the ultimate blessing, which was to get that name. He fought for that name. And if he fought for it, I think we should too. I think you and I should wrestle, and I think we should strive to want to seek a life of righteousness. I think we should strive to understand who we're in a relationship with. We're not in a relationship with God of the New Testament. We're in a relationship with the Holy One of Israel, the King of the universe, the one who's created all things in the heavens and in the earth and everything that's in it and beneath it and under it, and the one who's formed everything that we see, smell, touch, taste. So what's required of us is a higher elevation and a great expectation. This is not you get something and there's nothing owed. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. What's owed to Yahweh is praise. What's owed to him, that's due to him, is praise and honor. And the way that we do that is by how we live our lives. That's how it's done. Okay, so this whole week, I want you to do your Torah portions. I want you to be disciplined. I want you to wake up in the morning. You got to get up an extra 30 minutes. Get up an extra 30 minutes. I want you to wash your face. I want you to wash your hands. And if you want to, wash your feet or take a bath or do whatever. Get yourself up and go sit and you get on your face and you put your face all the way down to the ground and you give the honor and the praise to the Holy One. I don't care if you don't say one word, just get down on your face and just be there and thank him. That's it. And we need to submit to his will and to his power and understand that there's going to be things and challenges in our lives, but he's developing our character before he comes and get us. He wants to know which one of us has this ability to desire to elevate and go to the higher level. And we only do that by elevating and exalting him. And we put ourselves down. So room is about lifting him up, right? And elevating our minds, but elevating of our minds means a lowering of our own desires. You're only lifting yourself up to get closer to him. The closer that we get to Elohim, the more we have to put ourselves down. I'm accepting that fact. I have to put me down. I have to put down what I want and what my desires are. And I have to give that to Ruma. And so what I want to do is I want to give him more than just, things that I say and stuff like that. I really, really want to give him my mind. That's what I want to give him. And I'm encouraging you guys to do the same. So I've held you long enough. I'll see you on Yom Kamishi and we'll finish up. All right. We'll finish. Oh, someone got a question. Yes.
I just wanted to add on to what you were saying about, getting down on your face. I would just say it's a command, it's a commandment to say the Shema twice a day. So say it in the morning when you wake up and before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
So, you got to, at least say that.
At least say, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, praise the Holy One. So it's good seeing everybody on tonight. I know I have a lot of people out in Texas and stuff. I love you guys, and we'll see you on Yom Kamishi, okay? So Lila Tov to everyone tonight.
Lila Tov, Shalom Aki.
Oh, shalom.
Gerald, boy.
Gerald, he got something else. He got that.
Shining like a diamond.
Yeah, isn't he glowing? He glowing. Hey, we got our sister on here, Talina or Tyleen.
Italian.
Italian. Nice to meet you. Welcome to the class.
Well, look, I've been here before. I just hadn't been back in a while. I'm returning.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, remember, look, I'm the one that got to look at you on my app on the computer and listen on the cell phone.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Welcome back. Well,
thank you.
Yeah, we missed you, but I'm glad to see you back because we're on a road. We're all walking together. So praise the Holy One of Israel for you. Okay. I'll see you guys yes, absolutely. I'll see you guys on Yom Kamishi. Hallelujah. Praise the Holy One.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Shalom. Good seeing you, Nay. Good seeing you, Kel.
Oh, thank you.
All right.